should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even know where to begin. If I allow myself to dream, will it be as good as it seems? Pull me out of this place in the middle, nothing more to embrace in the middle, If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I Take me up into the mountains, send me off into the wild. Misery is still a path I would choose if the alternatives are worse. I guess it's time to find a friend, one who will stick by to the end. Going out of my mind in the middle, wasting all of my time in the middle, I take the fight and spit it out, unaware of what it's about. I'm not that good at faking it. I feel somehow I've broken it. I don't believe I'm part of it. In the If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Nothing really matters at all. Pull me out of this place in the middle, nothing more to embrace in the middle,
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Hey y'all, my camera moved. Hold on. Maybe that's a little better. I don't know. It's bright in here during the day live. I don't like seeing me up close like that. Good gracious, that's a scary sight. First thing in this damn morning. Good Lord, in the morning, that's a scary looking thing, ain't it? Myself. Runaway camera, said Hannah UK. Good to see you, love. Mustang, good to see you. True Crime, good to see you. Jimmy Jane, good to see you. Southern Cats, good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. Merry Christmas. Ruby for Justice, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Merry Christmas. Cindy from sunny South Florida, Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Rachel, good to see you. Hio, my love, good to see you. Jenny Jen A1 from day one, good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. You guys ready for Christmas? I'm going to ask y'all that every single day until Christmas. Stephanie, good to see you. And Karen, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Scratch, good to see you, love. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So today, I do want to let y'all know that I haven't stopped doing the missing children's videos. I've got to go on the website and get my next round of images and information to share. And my phone is like, I did this thing on my computer called OneDrive or something, right? And I didn't know it at the time, but evidently it like takes everything from my computer and my phone and like puts them together. And it's like on my computer, I mean, on my phone. And so now I have no space on my phone. So I've got to figure that out so I can make the video in CapCut. I might end up doing it on my computer, but I haven't had time. And with Christmas and everything, it's just been trying to get everything done, trying to finish up Christmas shopping and all of that. I haven't stopped doing that. I just want y'all to know that because it is important. I feel like that's the most important thing that you see when you come to my channel. So I apologize about that. Anders, good to see you. You have been so kind to me all day. Well, that's good. No, I didn't. She's such a sweetheart, Dutchess. And she's down there in Myrtle Beach where this case takes place. Let me go look. Let's pull it up. She's so pretty. I meant to tell her, and I didn't, that it really meant a lot to me when she complimented me yesterday because I feel like I'm like, look like the butt of a bulldog. So, and she's so beautiful. When she said that, it made me feel good. I saw this posted from the Robbie Harvey on Facebook yesterday. We just talked about this. Did you see this? Oh, John Paul Miller gives power of attorney to his best friend, Mark Cuffman. I'm going to keep this simple. Flip side is 3 Crocodile Rocks. If you've attended that bar since the death of Mica Miller, you've indirectly funded Pastor John Miller. What the hell? We got to advertise that bar because people that go there to vacation don't know that they're funding his bullshit. Wow. I'm going to share this real quick. Well, let's finish reading it first. Robbie apparently spoke to staff members who were told JP had nothing to do with Crocodile Rocks any longer after Micah's death. Per Robbie, we were all lied to. He never stopped being an owner. Shaking my fucking head. I live here in Myrtle Beach and heard the rumors JP still owned the club. Looks like it was true after all. Shocking. Wow. What the hell? How many? So this is just, it looks like 2 pages. Yeah. We need to read this. Wow. Let me share this on my page. No, definitely don't want to report. I want to share. How do I do it? I'm going to try to share it real quick. Hold on just a minute. No, I want to create. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hold on, y'all. Okay. I think I've shared it now. All right. My goodness, that is crazy. Yeah, there's lights through the blinds. I think I'm going to put up a curtain or something over it. Like, I like to have the window open, but yeah, that's definitely the lights through the blinds. There's a window like right beside my desk over here in this little corner I'm in. Hey, Shelby, good to see you. My internet's been off and on all morning. Hope you are well. I hope you are too, and I hope the internet gets fixed for you. We've had a month. My daughter thinks she can live on the street. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I've had a month myself, scratch the paint, since before Thanksgiving. I've had some issues going on that aren't too different from that, and it's been a roller coaster to say the least. Sam Brown, good to see you. Thank you for being here. I'm praying for you, Scratch. It's a hard thing. I don't know what to do, and I wish I could tell you what to do. It's a lot. And I'm sorry you're going through it as well. Hey, you two bad actors, good to see you. Does JP's father lie in the grass and whimper like a little girl too? Well, he evidently has some things to do with demons and RAPE and all kinds of things that we're going to talk about this here day. I mean, the apple damn sure doesn't fall far from the tree, and I'm going to need my swear bell over here. Lord, I keep dropping my money. Got my swear bell ready for this episode. Look, that thing's full. Oh, y'all see my arm shake? Look at that. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. I need to get me a big old jug of canola oil and go behind my back like this. Tighten that up. Look at that. Look at that. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. I just made about 20 people unsubscribe, I'm sure. Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy. Good to see you. Well, the thing is, I'm glad you are here. All right. Let's start with this post from Dutchie, if I can read it. I like to print stuff out. So I'm going to get real close. It says County of Ori. I think it's pronounced Ori. I wish I could click on it and made it bigger. I, John Paul Miller, with an address of 246 Coldwater Circle, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, hereby nominate, constitute, and appoint Mark Cuffman with an address of in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, as my agent. Article 1. My agent is authorized to act for me in my name, place my steed and my place and okay. Let me start over. My agent is authorized to act for me in my name, place, and steed, and may exercise, and is hereby granted any or all of the following powers to as to my stock ownership in Flipside 3 Incorporated. 1. Buy, sell, and exchange stocks in said corporation. 2. Establish, continue, modify, or terminate an account with respect to stocks in said corporation. 3. Pledge stocks in said corporation as security to borrow, pay, renew, or extend indebtedness. 4. Endorse and receive certificates and other evidences of ownership with respect to stock in said corporation. 5. Grant constituents and exercise all voting rights with respect to stock in said corporation in person or by proxy, either into voting trust, and consent to limitations on the right to vote. And 6, exercise, enjoy, and enforce any and all rights incidental to and or arising out of ownership of said stock. So he gave the power of attorney to Mark Kaufman. And I'm thinking that that's because he's in this, he's just been indicted and he's got several lawsuits going on. And I'm wondering if he switched it over so he doesn't lose the business. Basically, like putting things in his grandmother's name. If it's not in his name, they can't take it from him. Hey, Hio, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, good to see you, love. Okay. Article 2. Any act or thing lawfully done hereunder by my agent shall be binding on myself. Sorry, it's hard for me to see. And my heirs, legal and personal representatives, and assigns, provided, however, that all business transaction hereunder for me or for my account shall be transacted in my name, and that all endorsements and instruments executed by my agent for the purpose of carrying out the foregoing power shall contain my name, followed by that of my agent, and in the designated, quote, agent, unquote. So that means that he still has ownership. It's like if you get somebody to co-sign for a title of a vehicle, your name is listed first because you're the one that makes all the decisions on said vehicle. And then if you are not able to make the decision, the co-owner makes the decision. In this case, he's putting his name first on all this documentation so he can make the decision. And if he's not able to, then his agent would make the decision. Article 3, no person who may act in reliance upon the representation of my agent for the scope of authority granted to my agent shall incur my liability as to me or my estate as a result of permitting my agent to exercise this authority, nor is any such person who deals with my agent responsible to determine or ensure the proper application of funds or property. Any third party may transact say matter with my agent in the same manner and to the same extent as the third party would transact such matter with me. Any third party may rely upon a copy of this instrument certified by my agent to be a true copy of the original hereof, as fully as if such third party had received an original of this instrument. So that means that if they're okay, let's say that they have stocks in this company, right? And his agent wants to sell some stocks. He's given that to another person, let's say the General Electric Corporation, for example. He's saying that his agent can show that documentation in order to sell stocks to the General Electric Corporation, from what I understand. Oldest trick in the book to hide assets. Exactly, Rachel.
Boom, 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 bam.
And that's what this is. That's what this is. Shiesty J. Paul. Hey, Abraham. I was reading your email that you sent me and I got halfway through it and it was just so very sweet and I really appreciate it. I will finish reading it. It's actually up on my phone right now. I was helping the girls with a gingerbread house this morning, so I set my phone down. They asked me for something or something to that effect. Anyway, I've read half of it and it was so very sweet and it really touched my heart. Thank you for that, Abraham. And I'll get back to you after the live. Hey, Crystal, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Y'all ready for Christmas? Okay, Article 4. My agent shall not be liable for any acts or decisions made in good faith and in conformity with the powers enumerated in this power of attorney. So he can't be held accountable for a decision if he made it in good faith. This power of attorney shall become effective upon the execution and shall remain effective in the event of my physical disability, mental incompetence, or legal incapacity of any nature whatsoever, which renders me incapable of managing my own estate or affairs. This power of attorney shall terminate upon any one or more of the following circumstances: 1, my death; 2, the death of my agent named in the first paragraph of this instrument; or 3, revocation in writing by me. And then he signed it on the 13th day of November, 2025. So I really feel like this has to do with the lawsuits he's bringing against the people who are protesting outside of the church for justice for justice for Micah. And unless he knew he was about to be indicted, which I don't think he did, I think that this is because of the lawsuits. He don't want somebody else to bring a lawsuit against him or to lose the lawsuit and lose the asset of the Crocodile Rocks, I think is what it's called. Crocodile Rocks. Yeah. So again, for anybody coming in, Dutchie posted this 12 hours ago. Thank you guys for letting me know. It said, I saw this. She wrote, I saw this posted from at the Robbie Harvey on Facebook yesterday. We just talked about this. Allegedly, did you see this? John Paul Miller gives power of attorney to his best friend, Mark Kaufman. I'm going to keep this simple. Flip side 3 is Crocodile Rocks. So that's going to be a bar in Myrtle Beach. If you've attended that bar since the death of Mica Miller, you've indirectly funded Pastor John Miller. Robbie apparently spoke to staff members who were told JP had nothing to do with Crocodile Rocks any longer after Micah's death. Per Robbie, we were all lied to. He never stopped being an owner. Shaking my fucking head. I live here in Myrtle Beach and heard the rumors JP still owned the club. It looks like it was true after all, and that is shocking. So even the people working there are being told he has nothing to do with it. Meanwhile, he still owns it. Power of attorney, legal incapacity. Yeah. Hey, Edith. Merry Christmas, y'all. Merry Christmas. All right. We do have the documents on Reginald Wayne Miller, who is his father. I think we're going to do the interview, though, first. Let's do the interview of John Paul after Micah's death. So we're going to go over here real quick, and then we're going to come back to the articles on his father. And I mean, I have to ask, like, when we talk about his father, is this learned behavior from his father? Did his father show him how to act, basically? Before we get into that, we're going to look at a video real quick for comic relief, because I found another one of the Christmas videos, and then we'll go into the interview. I think it's this one we'll watch real quick. So this is just for y'all because I love our speculating family so much. Merry Christmas, y'all. I hope you find this funny like I did.
This Christmas song was only meant to be an instrumental, bro. Not have lyrics on it, especially yours. Well, this Christmas song just got a little more gangster, you heard? You need a hug, bro. Real gangster. I'ma hit him with the strap, know where he at, bring it to his block, lay the boy flat, run up in the house, take all the cash, watch for the cops, gotta move fast, better run when you hear the pop choppers in case, bring it non-stop, wanted by the feds, I had to lay low, got a good attorney, beat it, case closed, moving the bricks, taking them trips, I'm getting rich from the yayo,
He's like, damn, that was kind of hot. Here's another one. I'll let it play and then we'll move on.
Christmas.
I do. Give me everything in the purse. Real gangster. Give me this, give me that. Ski mask all black. You sit on Santa Claus lap. I rob Santa with the Mac. So dope, made racks. I got the scope on a gat. The Grinch gave back Christmas. I replace him, take it back. Go anywhere, I'm good. Ride Santa sleigh through the hood. Run in your house with a presents. Give it up, a trigger, get pulled. Christmas music.
All right, I wanted to share that with y'all for a quick laugh before we go into this interview. Chrissy, if you got a membership yesterday, that was probably from Abellis, and I meant to tell everybody who got a membership yesterday to thank Abellis because she so kindly gifted 50 memberships, and that was so very sweet of her. I appreciate everybody yesterday and today. I appreciate you all so very much, and I hope y'all are having a good holiday season. Rachel said, I have a feeling he thought they were getting away with everything. Wrong, you piece of shit. I wish I could call him a piece of shit to his damn face. I really do. Okay, so trigger warning.
Your head at.
So I skipped this to write about where they started. This is from approximately a year ago. It premiered on July 20th of 2024, so not quite a year ago. It is titled John Paul Miller Breaks Silence About Wife Mica Miller's Death, and it's a Banfield full exclusive. I'm going to copy the link and drop it in our chat, and then I will put it in the description after the video. Good afternoon, Rosie. Good to see you. And we're going to listen to what this fuckstick, excuse my French, has to say after. This is going to be what? Possibly a year after Mika's death. I'm not positive. I need to check when it was April 27th of 2024. Yeah. So no, it wasn't a year. Hold on. Like 3 months after her death. I apologize. 3 months after his wife took her life, after she tried to file for separation and he pestered the fuck out of her, flattening her tires, putting tracking devices on her vehicles, wouldn't let her leave. She was scared for her life. 3 months after that, this is what he has to say about his ex-wife. It's infuriating.
Well, I think part of it is I finally got the approval of my attorneys to do so. They, the ones working on the defamation cases, they said it's easier to win a defamation case the more the people talk. And so they've been collecting a lot of evidence over the past while. And also I think that now that some of the emotion has died down in the world and with people that are led by their feelings, I think now they deserve to hear some logic and some truth. And make their own assessment.
Do you miss her?
Yes, sir.
Look at him. He can't help but smile. And where was his emotion when he was telling the church after services that Sunday that his wife took her life and then proceeded to tell them about her mental illness, how she needed her medication that was hard to get, and then told them that after he made the announcement, they were to leave church immediately and not even speak about it. Like, even that statement right there, I wonder if when his dad was preacher at the church, if that was things that he said about the crimes that he committed. He is a slime ball, absolutely 100%. It is not defamation if it's true. Exactly. Look at him.
Yes, sir.
Did you see this coming?
He really is.
Yes, but it doesn't change at all the power of the pain of reality. I saw it coming for years. I told them for years this would happen over, and I said if she gets off her medicine, suicide is the next thing. And she tried it in the past, but with me, she always remained okay with me. She was on her meds with me. She was healthy and happy. And even if she did get low or stop taking her medicine, I would help her get back on it, and things would be fine without me and with her family. She's off meds, and she committed suicide. And I told them this would happen over and over again. I tried my best to stop her from getting a gun. I went to judges. I have copies of all the police. I talked to her counselor, the pastor she was going to, her family, her friends. I told them all, don't let her get a gun. Do whatever it takes, prevent her from getting a gun.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. Spiritual conduit, good to see you. I know they keep vehicles registered in their name for control. The police can't do anything if they take the plates or keys, and you are absolutely right. And thank you for being here. She couldn't do anything about the fact that he flattened the tires and the fact that he had tracking devices on her vehicle because it was marital property and things like that. I it was all very calculated and planned. The thing about the firearm, I would believe that you thought it could be a problem if she had tried to do this in the past, and I don't know if she's tried to do this in the past or not. I just have to take your word, and I don't believe a fucking thing that comes out of your mouth. If you told me that the sky was blue, I wouldn't fucking believe you until I went and looked for myself. But considering the fact that he wanted to involve animals, homeless men, all of these things in their marriage, the torture that he put her through, she didn't give it up to him 3, 4, 5 times a day. I don't think it was for her protection at all. I think it was for his protection. He didn't want her to have a firearm because he didn't want her to feel safe. Because if you really were concerned about her mental health and about her trying to take her life, then you wouldn't be playing loud music and using literal war tactics if she didn't give it up to you 4 or 5 times a day. She didn't, and Anders, and that's a good point. Anders said, did she have anyone to turn to? No. She couldn't talk to her church. She finally started talking to people that had left the church because they started catching on to what a fuck stick this guy is. She could talk to her family, but no. She went to the police, and it makes me so upset because that's what we're told to do over and over and over again. Go to the police, get a restraining order, file charges. She tried. In the daytime with a fucking flashlight, she tried. And they didn't do anything. Now they are, and I'm glad, but it's after she's taken her life, allegedly. Like, day late and dollar short. She was trying to protect herself. Rosie said, this monster saw it one way. If I can't have her, no one else can. He belittled her when he was born doing all wrong and hatred and being not godly. He absolutely was the furthest thing from godly I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Exactly, spiritual. She tried so hard. And if they had listened to her or did something or even brought this indictment that we've just now gotten back then, would she still be here? I feel like she would. Because again, you got to remember that she was groomed from the age of 10 years old. She grew up in that church. She's marrying the preacher, a man of God, a man that's going to be beside her in her walk with God and her walk with faith. And she finds out all that's a lie. Everything he says is a lie because he's preaching about the dangers of pornographic addictions while being addicted to porn and all kinds of nasty things. And so all that's a lie. She finally gets up enough courage to leave him, even though she's scared to do that because she don't want to stop anybody else from coming to God and believing in God because they got divorced, because God doesn't like divorce from what she says. And she finally realizes in the last video we saw that even though God doesn't like divorce, God doesn't like abuse even more. And she realizes she's being abused. She goes to the cops. She tries to make him stop. And so, what do you have? You've lost your whole life, her faith, everything she knew growing up, the man that she had loved, and that he had groomed her from the age of 10 years old. And she probably felt like she really loved, realizing everything was a lie. Everything was taken from her. Everything. Her faith, her own. And it's so hard when you're groomed. You don't know who you are as a person without that person that was grooming you. Because your whole time growing up, you were around that person or knew that person. They created you to be what they wanted you to be. So when you finally leave, who are you? You don't even know. So she's dealing with all that and the faith issues and the cops not helping so much. It makes me so sad. Orange Rose, good to see you. In my opinion, police need to take classes on coercive control, such a scary combination, a coercive controller in a leadership position. Yes, that poor girl never stood a chance. Exactly.
Boom, 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 bop, bam.
And keep that in mind as we watch this video. I mean, he's good at it because he's been standing in front of the church doing this for so long and watching his disgusting daddy do it. He's good at it.
And when she was with me, she was never able to go that far. But with
Hey,
them,
DJ, good to see you.
that's exactly
Merry
what happened,
Christmas.
and it destroyed me. And I still haven't really grasped it. Like, it hasn't. I kind of keep putting off the reality of it, and I try not to think about it as much as I can.
What was going on in your marriage the week Micah died?
The week she died, we didn't talk that entire week. I'd emailed her several times that week, and my regular emails are sending her letters telling her that I love her. And she came over to the house. The last time I saw her was a few weeks before she passed away. We spent about 4 hours together, and we hugged and kissed. And she was in and out of psychotic conversations. She would say, one thing about double agents that are following her. That was one of the phrases she would use when she was off her meds, double agents. And the other phrase she would say, she
I
wants
don't
to come
believe
home
that.
so bad, but her family won't let her. She told me she wanted to live in Africa and asked me if I'd live with her. I said, sure, if you take your medicine, And so she told me if I'd give her some money and if I would write her a letter saying certain things in this letter that she would take her medicine. And so I tried that, and but she just.
That's important to me. I'm wondering, because she's trying to collect evidence. I'm wondering if this letter she was trying to get him to write would be him admitting the things that actually happened. And so she's going to say, if you write me this letter, I'll take my medicine to try to get her the evidence she needed to prove what she had been going through. But I mean, she probably felt like even with that, they wouldn't listen to her. You got to keep in mind, he's preacher of a mega church in the area. A lot of police officers would probably more than likely be members of that church. And I feel like that played a role from the outside looking in at all the times she called the cops and they didn't do shit. DJ said, good to see you. Good to see you. Merry Christmas to you as well. I won't be on long. I have Wi-Fi for just a few minutes, so I'll be on until I'm not under the Wi-Fi. Well, it's good to see you, love, and thank you for coming in. If y'all don't mind, if y'all would twinkle, twinkle over to the thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it.
Come on, players, stop hating. Stop hating. Start participating. Start participating, Star. Come on, twinkle, twinkle, baby. Twinkle, twinkle.
Twinkle, twinkle, baby. I appreciate it. What was the medicine for? Was it an antidepressant? I think she was on antidepressants, but I can't verify that because of HIPAA. I know he said he was making her take testosterone shots to up her sex drive. But my God, when you're demanding it 5 times a fucking day and then playing loud music and throwing water on her, she goes to sleep without giving it up. I wouldn't want to have sex with him anymore at all. It would just become a motion. Just like washing your hands. Mm-mm. do put a vape rub in his eyes to make his eyes red and watery, shaking my damn head. He probably did. DJ, thank you so much for becoming a member. I'm so glad you did. I am going to try to put out some Christmas videos of making some Christmas stuff and doing maybe some ornaments. I don't know. Definitely some cookies. So I hope that you enjoy the videos you will have access to and now have access to. I really appreciate the support. Let me grab the crazy train to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
Thank you so much, DJ. I really appreciate it.
Desperately wanted to come home. She was just so afraid
Bullshit.
her family would disown her.
Bullshit.
And so the week before she passed away, I probably emailed her maybe 7 or 8 times that week just saying, I love you. You need your lithium. Don't forget who you are when you're on medicine versus who you are when you're off. She had lost 40 pounds in a month, and nobody that was in her life thought to take care of her. Nobody. She was living with a former registered nurse. Her family, quote unquote, were taking care of her. She lost 40 pounds in 1 month, and no one thought she needed help. She was talking about living in Africa. No one thought she needed help. She's making videos on Facebook. And if you see the videos, you know it's not her because she has a different cadence, a different tone, a different amount of words per minute when she's healthy and on medicine than when she's off. And the way she was even looking into space when she's taking those videos, you knew she was delusional. And if somebody loved her enough to take her to a professional and say, okay, this woman says she's being abused, or this woman says, you know, this, or she's lost 40 pounds in a month. If someone thought I need to take her to a professional, that professional would have known that she needed medicine. And the reason I know that's true is because I took her a few weeks before she passed away. I took her to probate court. And in 3 minutes time, she went in, she walked back out. When I went in, they said, your wife is mentally ill and she needs medicine desperately. And I said, okay, let's do it. Let's get her the medicine. Let's get her help. And they said, she's not a danger to anybody in society, so we can't force her to do it. But if one of her family members or friends had taken note of the way she was acting and seen what was happening to her physically and taken her to just one professional, they could have saved her life.
Where were you when Micah?
That's bullshit. She's there. If there was a registered nurse living with her and her family said that she's okay, then I think she was okay. The shit that he put her through would have put her in a worse mental state than she ever would have been in entering the relationship. And I'm trying to locate right now the video we watched yesterday on Facebook. Not on Facebook. We watched it on the live stream yesterday. Her Facebook video. She seemed like a woman who was trying to give advice yet talking about herself at the same time. And she didn't seem abnormal to me at all. It looked like somebody that was figuring out that she was abused and had been for a long time. I'm going to work on finding that video so I can show it to y'all, because I'm not pulling it up right now. But absolutely not. That's complete and utter bullshit. And I've been on lithium, and, you know, I didn't like it. I gained weight on lithium. I stopped taking it abruptly, which is something you should never do because it can kill you, or it's really bad for you, or something to that effect. But I didn't like the way it made me feel. It made me feel sleepy and zombified all the time. He wants her to be on medicine, and she doesn't want to be on it. And it sounds like if she's living with a registered nurse who can say, hey, sweetheart, you got some things going on, and her family is highly involved, then I think she was okay. Keep in mind, Pastor John Miller's thinking of her being healthy was her dealing with extensive, horrendous abuse. She's not dealing with that anymore. I think she was way healthier without him. He did horrible things to her, and I believe he drugged her against her will. I do too. If we're speculating, I do too. I mean, he even talks about how she didn't like to take her medicine in that fucking fucked up shit he did after service, and forcing her to take testosterone shots to increase her sex drive because he's got a fucking addiction to sex.
Died.
In my opinion.
It was on a Saturday. I was in Charleston with about 100 people from my kids' school.
What was it?
Oh, soccer. It was a soccer tournament.
Okay, so we know, I've gone through Micah's last day, pretty much almost down to the minute. Bring us through your last day? You said soccer. were there any? Do you have any documentation that they were there?
Oh, you're asking because okay, I got you. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I can't believe people. Oh my Lord. So yeah, I was with about 100 people. We had dinner that night. We were all together at the soccer fields that day. Afterwards, after the soccer game, somebody was with me the entire time, who I can't name due to legal.
He's touching his nose and things like that, and I feel like that was his alibi. I feel like he made that his alibi. We don't have any Wi-Fi at the house for 3 more months, which sucks. I'm so sorry. Lithium is poison, in my opinion. I agree completely, Anders. Pastor Ant-Man. He really is. Ugh. I mean, and that's true too, Lorianne. It's good to see you. Testosterone will make you grow hair on your chest and a beard. I'm on testosterone, but that's because I'm trans. Well, that's a different thing, and that's something that you chose to do. It's not something that you would be doing against your will. And if you are trans, I mean, I could definitely understand you being on that for that reason, and I would support you in that. But for her to not to transgender, but to increase the sex drive, and it's something that she didn't want to do anyway. I mean, he's asking for sex 4 and 5 times a day. That's a bit much. And if she doesn't, again, playing loud music and using literal warfare tactics against her. And that's why she was supposed to be on it. That she didn't want to be on it. And you shouldn't demand sex from your wife 4 and 5 times a fucking day. That's just a bit much. You know what I mean? If you're transitioning, then that's completely different and acceptable.
Purposes, but I will say it's somebody that I love more than anything else on planet Earth.
Man or woman?
Young person that I cannot name due to legal purposes, but somebody that I am responsible for and love very, very much. And that person was with me, and we went shopping in Charleston, and we got food in Charleston, and there's all the receipts from that throughout the time. I think we might have gotten gas too, and then I made it back to Myrtle Beach. And I was just actually looking today at emails that I sent her that day. I sent her 4 emails that day, and I just noticed today that 2 of those she wasn't able to read because it was after it had happened.
I would love to know what those emails said. I would also love to know if he always got receipts when he went somewhere or purchased gas. You know how you can, like, sometimes they won't give you a receipt and you have to ask for one. I would love to know if he keeps the receipts from all the days he goes out, or if he just kept them from that day, because I swear to y'all, I think that man was creating an alibi.
What do you think happened that day?
So according to what she's tried to do in the past, and according to her doctors who have taken care of her for years, and according to me who's seen it over and over again, I imagine that she was in an incredibly euphoric attitude. I saw her pictures on the Dick's Pawn Shop. Someone sent me screenshots of the Dick's Pawn Shop pictures where she's smiling, which out of the 6 or 7 times that she tried to commit suicide in the past, only one of those times was she depressed. The other times she was very euphoric. And she would wake up and say, I think I'm supposed to die today. And I said, no, honey, you're not going to do that. She said, well, my mind tells me that I'm supposed to kill myself. I said, we're not going to listen to your mind. We're going to take you to a doctor.
I mean, again, even if that is true, if she got up saying, I feel like I'm supposed to die today, I mean, would you not look at yourself and say, damn, I'm literally torturing this girl? Maybe I should stop throwing water on her when she wants to go to sleep. Maybe I should stop blaring loud music so she can't sleep. Maybe I should stop bringing home homeless men and animals and sex toys. But no, you take it further. You continue to do that. Continue to embarrass her. Continue to deflate her fucking tires when she tries to leave. Stalk her. Have her involuntarily fucking committed. And track her every move. Like you didn't give a fuck about her at all. He made it worse.
And get you help. And I discovered, of course, that she had stopped taking her meds each time. But either way, she was in a euphoric attitude. And so you see the Dick's Pawn Shop video where she's wearing her her work clothes and with a smile on her face. So they sold her a weapon, and then I assume that she drove. She told one of her best friends. So far, the 4 people she spent the most time with every week, no one's interviewed or talked to those 4 people. And one of those people that I talked to told me that she told her 2 years ago, if I ever
Yep.
commit suicide, I'm going to go to this place in Lumberton, the state park or something like that.
Which friend is that?
I probably wouldn't want to name her because I saw this friend one time here in public for 30 seconds. And of course, Robbie S. Harvey, as usual, got somebody to take a picture and destroyed the girl's life, brought up her past and horrible things about her. So people are scared to tell the truth.
Wait a minute. That's important. Number one, I would love to know the friend that she said this to, that if she was ever going to take her life, she would do it at the Lumbee State Park, is the woman that JP is now involved in with. Spiritual Conduit said after the abuse, plus you refuse, he'll tell you it's abusive, plus that you are withholding. Yep. You're withholding from me. You know, you can't, it's not like she could have went to him and said, what you're doing to me is making me feel like I'd rather die than be in this relationship. She's not going to tell him that to his face. Lord have mercy, what he would do. I couldn't even imagine. So she says, I don't want to talk about it or something like that. And he's going to say, well, you're withholding from me what you're going through. And I need to know that. So I can imagine that the conversation was like, so I can help you get closer to God, because God doesn't like divorce and God wants us to be together or he wouldn't have put us together. So you got to talk to me and you've got to stop withholding, because that's not what a good submissive wife does. I'm telling you, I guarantee the conversation went something like that. He just said something about Robbie. And going back to this post from Dutchess, it says, I saw this posted from at the Robbie Harvey. So we're going to back that up a little bit because I'm wondering if it's the same Robbie Harvey. Robbie Harvey just posted the information about him still owning the Crocodile Rocks there in Myrtle Beach. If you are a tourist or you go there to vacation, don't go to the Crocodile Rocks because you're supporting this fuck stick by
State park or
proxy.
something like that.
Which friend is that?
I probably wouldn't want to name her because I saw this friend one time here in public for 30 seconds. And of course, Robbie S. Harvey, as usual, got somebody to take a picture.
He said Robbie S. Harvey, as usual, got somebody to take a picture. It's the same one. I wonder if he's got a lawsuit against Robbie.
And destroyed the girl's life, brought up her past and horrible things about her. So people are scared to tell the truth or to talk about the good things of Mica because of the social media.
So this
moms.
friend says that Mica told her, if I'm going to take my life, I will probably do it in Lumberton River State Park.
She told me that after Mica passed away, but she told me that Mica told her that 2 years ago. Yeah.
Did she say why? Why that location?
She said because Mica told her it was peaceful and outdoors. And Mica did love the outdoors, loved the outdoors. Vacations were outdoory vacations because that's what she loved. But so
Has she ever been there?
No, not that I know of. Not ever that I know of.
Do you guys?
So why would she pick that place? And like, there's plenty of parks that are like that in Myrtle Beach. Why that place? See, that doesn't even make sense. Anders said, but everything was fine when she took her medicine. I wonder if it was. I wonder if it really was fine when she took her medicine, or if it was a facade. If she just took her medicine and it made her not have to deal with the shit she's enduring at his hands, like self-medicating, you know what I mean? But instead of self-medicating, she was actually medicating. And then she got away from him and she actually got healthy. Exactly, Orange Rose. That's some bullshit. The mother of his kids saw everything and was helping her. That says something. Yes, it does.
Boom, 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 bop, bam.
You know, and I think if anybody knows what that man is like, it would have been her. Sometimes the best help and advice you can get is from the ex.
Guys have any connection to that area?
Not at all. I never
Have
even
you ever
heard
been
of
there?
it. Nope. I've never even heard of the place. I never even heard of, what's the city? Robinson County. I've never even heard of there before.
So did it strike you as, before you heard this, did it strike you as odd when you heard that where she went and what they say allegedly happened? Did you question it at all?
Well, I didn't think it was real. I thought her family had made it up and had somebody call me and say that. So that's one big thing. I didn't think it was real. When I found out it was real.
Again, I wonder if he created the alibi and knew it was real and then put on a show like, no, you're lying. That's not true. I don't believe anything he says either. It's all bullshit.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
Like everything he said to the church. Yeah, I figured, but I mean, just thinking about it and expanding on it more. The fact that everything was fine when she was taking her medicine, even if it was, I don't think it was actually fine. But yeah, the way he portrays it, he didn't give a fuck about her. He didn't give a shit. Her being mentally unwell benefits him, no one else. Exactly.
Boom, 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 bop, bam.
And he sure did use it to his benefit.
You know how like like you tell
Exactly.
somebody something, you tell them,
Exactly,
then when it happens, you don't want to say I told you so because it's a horrible thing. That's what I felt like. I felt like I told y'all, like I told her family this so many times you can't imagine.
So the first thing he felt was vindicated.
And I told her friends this. I told everybody. I said, if y'all don't get her lithium, she's going to commit suicide. Her doctor told her this on paperwork where her doctor said this. And then when I get the call, here's what I felt like. I felt like the world's biggest failure because I spent the past 3 months when her family got her out of the hospital and didn't bring her home. And her dad talked her into buying him a car. And
keep in mind, her family got her out of the hospital and took her wherever because he took her identification, he took her car, he took her money, he left her there with nothing. So if he really was concerned about her taking her own life, he would not have done all of these things. He would not have made it impossible for her to even get a drink, much less try to figure out how to fuck to get home or where home is after she gets out of the facility. He also is flattening her tires, just torturing her. And in a community where he's head of this huge church. So who do you go to? Who do you talk to? At some point, you try to talk to the cops, and we all know how that went.
All this stuff was
You
happening.
really
It was all
didn't stand a
crazy.
chance.
I made
Hey,
a vow
Java.
that I was
Good
going to do
morning.
something every single day
Merry
to try to get her
Christmas.
back on her lithium and
I
save her
do
life.
too,
And so
DJ.
every day I
I
did
do.
something. Sometimes I did 4, 5, 6, 7 things. Some days it's just one thing. But every day, whether it was an email, a text, visit someone, talk to a family member, talk to a friend, go somewhere, go to a judge, go to probate. I'm going to do something to save her life. And I spent every single day for those 3 months doing that.
Yep.
So getting that phone call made me feel like the world's greatest failure. I was against the whole world because everyone told me that it wasn't true and that I was making it up and that whatever they were saying. So it was me against the world for 3 months and I failed.
What was the call and who was the call from and what did they say?
Man, it was a man. I got a call and it was I think it was a detective, I think. And I remember him being very calm and very nonchalant. And so that's why I thought, well, this is not real. And so I started screaming. I had a family member that was there with me. I started screaming for them to use their phone to call the hospital where the guy said she was at. And my family member called the hospital and said it was real. And I still didn't believe it. And so I called a police chief that I know somewhere around here, a captain or somebody.
It is.
And I said, there's a detective named such and such on the phone telling me these things. Like, is this real? Is this a real person or not? And that person told me that it was real as well. And I just remember, screaming really loud and throwing up everywhere. And
What did they tell you?
I remember throwing up. Did I have spaghetti that day? It was a lot of throw up. It was something.
What? What the fuck was that? Like, I don't want to think about the image of you vomiting spaghetti, first of all. But again, I reiterate, if he really was upset about it and concerned, he would not have done all the things that pushed her to that point. It was his intention, in my opinion, to push her to that point because he literally tortured her using warfare tactics. Sam said, I just recently had a walk-in clinic doctor say, quote, or maybe this med will make it all better, unquote, when I questioned why he would prescribe me an antipsychotic med when I went there for a persistent rash. That's insane. They get paid money to prescribe certain medications. Like they get a kickback for prescribing different medications. I don't want to influence anybody on going to the doctor, or this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor, but when I found out things like that, I kind of stepped back from going to the doctor as much. I wouldn't have. They'll say that, maybe it's an antipsychotic, but it'll help with rashes and things, but they get paid to prescribe certain specific things. A lot of times, if you look online, you can make something out of organic materials to try to help with it. He is very bizarre, very bizarre. I'm glad he's arrested too. I need to check. Let me check real quick and see.
And read. I'm sorry.
What did they tell you?
I don't remember that. Oh, no, I don't remember that. Hold on. I don't remember. He said, my family member called the hospital and spoke to, I think, either the head nurse or medical examiner or somebody. And that lady read me stuff that the Robinson County, I guess, had wrote on a piece of paper. And she was reading me suicide and the weapon and where it was at and all these different facts. And so then because the detective would not tell me it was suicide. And then I called him back and told him what the hospital told me. And he was pissed off and asked me who that lady's name was. And I didn't know her name. And if I didn't know, I wasn't going to tell him anyway, because I'm glad she told me anyway. And so,
So going on to the scene of a crime, you wouldn't automatically say it was suicide. You definitely wouldn't want that out there just yet. But it is weird to me. I mean, I'm assuming the cops said it kind of behind the scenes and then that person told him. I get it. I get why he would be the cop would be upset. So no, John Paul Miller is not currently incarcerated. He has been indicted on charges of cyber stalking and making false statements, but his arraignment is scheduled for January 12th of 2026 in federal court in Florence, South Carolina. So it did take the feds to get involved in order for anything to be done. I'm telling you, he does keep putting Micah down a lot. A lot. And I mean, that gives you insight to how it was for her on a daily basis in their relationship. I hope you do too, DJ. I hope you have a good day, sweetheart. I got booted from my MS clinic because I wouldn't go on the crazy chemo meds. I agree, most things can be healed through food. Yeah, it can. It can. And there's other things you can do too for MS. Like I would look up a natural thing, my love. I wish somebody, language expert and statement analysis, would watch this interview. He strikes me as bizarre too. Right. And how did he become preacher, pastor, leader of a whole congregation of people in this Southern Baptist church? I can't get over that. Kalisa said he looks physically unwell, like he's detoxing or using something going on with him in this interview. Yeah, he does. And I didn't even think about that, but he does. I'm wondering if it's because I know that he's tried to make himself look more emotional, upset, or even try to cry in this interview. So I'm trying to figure out if it's that or if he's using substances. I believe he's using substances. And I think some of the documentation said he might have been too. I believe his dad was friends with a bunch of cops, so it doesn't surprise me he got info. Yep. I think that plays a role too. I really do. There's something going on with him and a connection with the cops. I think.
and I said, is this stuff true?
Me too.
And I can't remember if he said yes or just hung up. I don't remember.
Do you remember what he said though?
Oh man, I don't remember at all. If I try to enunciate it, I'll probably be making something up based on all the crashing of everything going on. So I can't tell you for sure.
Did you ever?
Lori, he was indicted for cyber stalking, for putting the deflation devices into Micah's tires. And he was indicted for the trackers on the car. And then he said that he said in a court document that she called him more than he called her on March 11th of 2024, when in fact he had called her 50 times more than she had called him on that day. So he got indicted finally on the 17th of this month.
Question the findings that the authorities gave to you that this was
That's
suicide?
awesome. I take lion's mane every day too.
No, I mean, I'm not a detective.
Hey,
You know,
Kim.
I watched Scooby-Doo growing up, but that's what everybody seems to be acting like, is they're, you know, part of the mystery machine. But my Lord, like, let my wife, let her be at peace. Like, she's in heaven. She's not worrying about all this stuff.
Peace. Peace. She tried to find that away from you and you wouldn't let her, you fucking piece of shit. What right do you have to talk about Micah's peace when you took it from her on a daily fucking basis? Fuck you. Fuck all the way off.
Let her rest. Let her memory rest. She had suicidal tendencies over and over, year after year,
Oh,
off
fuck
medication
you.
especially. She went to Dick's Pawn Shop before, purchased a weapon, and tried to do the same thing. She drove out in the middle of nowhere. She called 911, left a voice message. I don't really understand what else could be. But you know what? I'm not a professional, so I don't know.
In other words, it all added up to you. It made sense to you.
I mean, I'm not a detective. If she had heart surgery, I'm not going to question the heart
That's
surgeon.
awesome, Java.
I don't know anything about detective work at all.
Right, but it's your wife. I mean, it's
Exactly.
and them telling you her life has ended.
No.
Are you trying to ask me if I think somebody murdered her?
Do you think anybody murdered her?
No.
Did you see him smile? No. Stupid. Okay, we're going to skip ahead and get back into the interview.
Attributed to her mental health. Why do you feel the need to?
Let me back it up. Okay.
Pastor John Paul Miller about those comments and those moments. And here's his reaction.
So, no, he's not in custody. He is bonded out. I mean, he owns property in the area, so I could see him bonding out. But it took the feds getting involved because the indictment, it's federal charges. From what AI just said, it's federal charges. I'd have to look at the indictment again, and I have to pull that up. But it appears to be federal charges, and it makes sense because they're charges for things that Micah went to the law about, and they told her there was nothing they could do because it was marital property. Technically, it's his car too, so he can put a tracking device on it if he wants to. He can deflate the tires if he wants to. So to me, it makes sense that the feds finally got involved because the charges are related to those things that she went to the cops about, and they brushed it off before. Good to see you, Southern Cats.
One of the things that raised eyebrows initially for the public was when you gave a sermon here.
Yeah, me too.
And you announced publicly
I'm glad
that she had committed suicide. And you talked about, you attributed it to her mental health. Why do you feel the need to come out with that at that moment?
That's a great question. So first, let's discuss why I preached that morning. Is that okay? Okay, so people have been asking that. So have you ever taken any psychology classes or anything like that?
Very few.
Okay, yeah, I haven't taken any. So
now the morning would be the day after she took her life. He preached a sermon, and it wasn't until the end that he said, my wife Micah killed herself, and she was mentally unwell. She didn't take her meds. Don't talk about it after I talk about it.
I would love to find a book or a psychology professor or someone that could tell me the correct response when you spend 7 years trying to keep someone alive by just taking a few pills that their family tells them not to take. Then when they don't take it, they go into a hospital, their family takes them out, and then you spend 3 months trying to get them help when her family's telling them that you're evil and the bad person. And then it finally happens, the thing that you've been dreading for 7 years, then you're trying to prevent for 7 years, then it happens. I don't know what the correct response is, right? Am I supposed to stay home and cry? Am I supposed to go out with my friends? Am I supposed to go to a bar and drink? I don't know what the right thing is, right? As a pastor, should I just get on my knees and pray? I mean, I want to die in that moment. And so the next morning, I remember thinking, okay,
But her family was saying you were evil because you literally took her peace from her every single fucking day. Rachel said because he still wanted to shame her, the piece of shit. And that's what it all goes back to. He just wants to shame her even after her death. Kat, good to see you. I feel so bad for her family. Micah tried so hard to get away from him. Law enforcement believed him instead of her. Exactly.
Bop, boom, 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 bop, bam.
And while I'm glad that he's finally indicted, why couldn't it have happened before? Why couldn't they have done something before she took her life? Like, why is that what it had to take?
I stay home, I'm probably going to kill myself. I'm probably going to just go to heaven and be
He
with her
is.
and be done.
100%.
Because I need to be around people, but I don't want to be around people and come to church if I'm not going to preach, because then I'll be judging the guy that's preaching the whole time. And I can preach just as easy as I can breathe. So I'm just going to go in the mode of what I'm normally going to do and just continue my life normally until I finally have to deal with what's going on. And so I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know the right response. I wish somebody had told me, in hindsight, if I go back in time, I probably would have done the same thing and still preached. And then at the end, and the sermon was about leaving your legacy and the people you leave on earth and your memory that's being left. So I thought maybe that's God. Then I thought, you know what, Micah wouldn't want me to preach. That's exactly what she'd want me to do. She'd be telling me to do it. She'd be trying to force me to do it. So I preached. And then at the end of the sermon, when I made the announcement was made. And of course, I'm not in a clear thinking frame of mind. I mean, it's like, it's not like I'm, kumbaya and got it all together.
But to show no empathy, compassion at all. And again, like Khaleesi's pointed out several times, to make it all about yourself. None of that was about Micah. I think he said her name one time on that sermon, the announcement after the sermon. He still made it all about him.
I said what I said
Typical
because
narcissist.
I didn't want them to think that it was because she's a bad person, or I wanted them to know, like, if Micah does anything that's out of character, it's because of her mental illness. It's not because of her. Like, she's a wonderful woman, full of integrity. When she's on her medicine, she's black and white, does the right thing, does not like the wrong thing being done. Off medication, she's a totally different person, and I didn't want them to see her as someone that was bad. I wanted them to know it's just a sickness. Like if you have heart disease, or if you have, diabetes or whatever, mental illness, you need medicine to continue going forward. And so that's why I said that.
I wanted to talk about her mental illness for a second. Like, let's say that there was a mental illness going on and she really did talk about double agents tracking her or something. Why then, as her husband, the person who groomed her from the age of 10 years old, would you put deflation devices in her tire and the tracking devices on her car to feed into that psychosis? So if she is experiencing psychosis, why are you feeding it by putting tracking devices on her car and things like that? Unless it was to literally destroy her. I think on the medication, she was submissive and let him do whatever he wanted to do and didn't care, because it makes you, the way they describe it is that when you're bipolar, your emotions go up and down like this. And they say that lithium or other medications make it kind of like that, or like a lot less up and down. And I think that it makes you stop feeling, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm not a medical doctor, but he fed into the psychosis knowing that she wasn't taking her meds, and made it worse because she wasn't being submissive to him and being there for him. I mean, like, if there ever was a narcissist piece of shit, this man is it.
So something I found interesting in that moment, you said, before I tell you this news,
Yep.
I'm going to paraphrase here. I'm going to tell you this news.
Do you
and
really?
I want you to leave. I don't want you to stand up and talk about it. Why?
That's a great question. And that was actually intentional, because the last thing I wanted to hear was people talking about my wife. I wanted them to go and take it to Jesus before they start, doing what some Christians like to do and just chatter. And I didn't want to experience the extra pain. I didn't want to be mad at somebody in my church because I heard them say, well, I'm not even going to guess at what somebody could have said, but I didn't want anybody to say anything negative about my wife.
No, only you can do that. And this man, to further on what Cat Wright said, this church fell apart and he still has a few followers. People are just stupid. This man had the mother trucking cojones to make a church and call it Mercy Church because nobody showed him mercy. And again, you make a church to be about God, God's mercy. not your mercy, not somebody showing you mercy. So in that moment, even in naming the church for the few followers that he had that continued to follow him, you're putting yourself above God. Like, I can't with him. Yeah, he didn't want people talking, and he didn't want people talking about him. I don't believe his description of taking lithium. I don't either. It's all bullshit. In his brain, he is allowed to do those things because she's not a person to him. She's his property. Exactly, Hannah.
Boom, 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 bop, bam.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Y'all are spot on.
Another point of concern, let's say for people watching, was when you gave a eulogy, was something concerning. People said that was concerning that you said that you tried to raise Micah from the dead. And I believe at another point you said you laid next to her body in the morgue. Is that true?
I didn't lay next to her body. I mean, I laid. I couldn't. You can't lay next to her because her body's up on this thing. But I mean, I hugged her, and I sat on the floor, next to her and just talked to her for a while. But yeah, I tried raising her from the dead, because you know what? If it had worked, we'd have a whole different story. But God forbid me not try it, and always wonder the rest of my life would it have worked? Right? Jesus did it. Elisha did it. A few other people in the Bible, and so yes, if somebody I love.
Jesus did it because he's the Son of God. Like, is that what you think you are, John Paul? You think you're the Son of God? And let's talk about Daddy, Mr. Son of God. Let's talk about your daddy. What the hell? Trying to raise her from in that moment, I would have got up and walked away. I'm sorry. And I would have come back and paid my respects a different way. This man is utterly disgusting. You think you're God? You think you're Jesus? I mean, there's no other explanation for that shit right there. What the hell? Like, it's sacrilege to follow this man to church.
More than anything in the world, has passed away what I believe to be an early death. You better believe I'm going to try to, in Jesus' name, raise him from the dead. I believe in healing. I believe in miracles. I believe in the raising of the dead. I'm a one God, apostolic, tongue-talking, holy, rolling, born-again, heaven-bound believer in the liberated power of Jesus' name. I'm not ashamed of it.
Wow.
Well, you can't argue that it would certainly be a different story if he'd been able to raise Mica Miller from the dead.
But he's not Jesus. Anything near. All right.
Would you characterize your relationship with Micah as healthy?
No.
Oh man, when she was on her medicine, we had the greatest marriage you could ever imagine. We spent every day together. I don't know any other couple that spent every day. So we wake up. Well, she'd kind of wake up before me, but we'd go work out together every day, 5 days a week. We'd eat lunch together every day. We would work together every day. We'd pick up the kids, do stuff with the kids every day. We'd go to dinner every night together. Then every night we would have our routine. So there's 3 things we would do. We would either sit in the bathtub together for 2 hours until the water went from steaming hot to ice cold. She bought this big air mattress we'd put in the back of the truck, and we'd go park somewhere here in Myrtle Beach where there's no lights. And she'd bring us some hot chocolate, and we'd lay on the air mattress for 2 hours. Or we would go out on the beach with our beach blanket and lay there for 2 hours. But the point was, no.
Okay, I'm wondering, are these all things he made her do? And notice how he keeps saying the specific time of 2 hours. Like, it makes me wonder if it was, and talking about specifically with the 2 hour thing, them being naked in the bathtub together, them being on a mattress in the back of a truck together, or them being laying on the beach together. Like, did he say every night for 2 hours, you have to give it up to me? We have to have relations every night for 2 hours. Because I feel like that's a stipulation he initiated. Did he say, you're going to get up with me every morning and go work out? You're going to have lunch with me every day? Obviously, they worked together in the church, so that might have been something that happened that had been happening from before they were married. Like, you have to be with me at all times, and every single night for at least 2 hours, you need to be giving it up in the bathtub, in the back of the truck, or on the beach. Because look, when I tell y'all Mr. Speculating saved my life, he did. I love that man. I love him so much. But no, we could not spend that much time together at all. We would be at each other's necks. And with him, the stipulations, his it's all very transactional. You're going to give it up 3 to 5 times a day. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. Very commanding, demanding, all of the things. I don't think that was her decision to be naked in the bathtub, in the air mattress, on the truck, or on the beach for 2 hours every night. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I hope a jury sees this interview too. He is very dangerous, and it's not only to Mica. I read an article. Everything was in the church's name. She had nothing in the church's name and his name. She had nowhere to go and nothing to go with. Exactly, Kat. She felt alone. Hey, Tom. Good to see you, love. He's painting a picture. She was mentally unstable, in my opinion, to prevent law enforcement or the FBI looking into her unaliving. Yep.
Bop, boom, 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 bop, bam.
It seems that way, right? And then he's got all this documentation to back it up, in my opinion, from the cops there. He controlled everything she did. He probably told her when she could pass gas.
Cell phones, just her and I. She would talk 90% of the time. I would talk 10% of the time, and I would just listen. And so every night, 2 hours, we'd hang out together. And so was our marriage healthy? It's probably as healthy as any other American marriage.
Have you ever abused your wife?
Never, not once in any way, shape, or form. I took better care of her than anybody could.
Look at him smiling when he says that. And we know that's a lie. We've read the court documents.
Night, 2 hours, we'd hang out together. And so was our marriage healthy? It's probably as healthy as any other American marriage.
Have you ever abused your wife?
Never, not once in any way, shape, or form. I took better care of her than anybody could.
He's smiling, looking up, but he's such a piece of shit.
Never take care of her. I never asked her to clean the house, not once in 7 years of marriage. She never had to cook a single meal. She never had to work. She was never harmed physically in any way.
In a letter or in an email you wrote.
Notice there, he said she was never harmed physically in any way. He didn't mention mentally because he destroyed her mentally.
To Mica, you apologized,
Yes.
right? You apologized for tracking her, for messing with her tires, for posting the picture.
I forgot about that.
So
the
that's all
nude
true,
picture.
right?
So if I
You did all
wanted, great question. I'm so glad you asked that, actually. If I wanted to lie about that, I would just say I never wrote the letter, right? Because how can you prove that I wrote somebody a letter? There's no signature, there's no name, it's not in my handwriting. But I 100% wrote the letter. And I did it because the night that she was with me, the last night we were together for 4 hours.
You would admit to writing the letter because you would feel like it vindicates you and makes you look like a decent person, even though you know deep down inside you're not, in my opinion.
At one point, because the whole 4 hours I'm trying to get her to take her medicine. And then she said, my family doesn't want me to. They don't want me to come inside the house. Maybe it's your house, come inside. So finally get to the point, she says, you know what? I'll take my medicine and I'll come home if you'll give me $10,000 and if you'll write me an apology letter.
So let me understand this correctly. The letter, the email that you wrote to Mica, apologizing for hiring a PI, tracking her, messing with her tires, and posting a topless photo of her. You wrote that, you say,
Yes,
but
sir.
now you're saying that you didn't actually do these things.
I did the PI thing, but so over the years, what I've learned with her is.
So this, I feel like this is going to be important. This is why we go back and look at these things. So he's going to say, he just asked them, so you apologize for the tracking devices, the deflation devices, the nude picture, all of that. You're apologizing for these things, even though you didn't do it. And keep in mind, he just got indicted for those things. The way he talks about it, like she wasn't allowed to do anything. Right. I don't think she was. Quote, in every way, shape, or form, unquote, seems to be a deceptive expression. It does. You're trying to cover all the bases when it's impossible to cover all those bases. You can't do anything in every way, shape, or form. You're lying, trying to cover all bases of something. I supported her in every way, shape, or form. It's not possible. You can support her to the best of your ability, but you see what I'm saying? It is hard to listen to it. He is 100%.
When she's in a delusional state of mind, I have to play into it in order to get her back on medicine. So the first year or two, when she'd say something, I'd say, that's not true. That's not real. She'd get mad and blow up and, knock a hole in the wall or something like that. So then by December 2019, I think it was, we were watching TV and she just stopped and said, "You're a double agent." And I said, "No, I'm not." She says, "Yes, you are." She said, "And I'm going to call the police." She said, "You're a double agent. You've stolen my things. And I'm going to put you in jail." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, what I'll do." She hadn't been taking her medicine.
So just to be clear, you wrote this to Mica, but now you're saying you didn't do those things.
No, I did not slash the tire. I did not. I don't think there's a naked picture of her anywhere ever. Anyway, I think that was just a made up.
So he got indicted for these things, and now he's here saying that it's a lie. He's been indicted and been proven to have done these things. So I'm going to back that up. Watch him when he says specifically he didn't flatten the tire.
"You've stolen my things, and I'm gonna put you in jail." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, what I'll do." She hadn't been taking her medicine.
So just to be clear, you wrote this to Mica, but now you're saying you didn't do those things.
No, I did not slash the tire. I did not. I don't think there's a naked picture of her anywhere.
Did you see his eyes darting back and forth? That's going to be his telltale sign for when he's lying. Hannah said, when you're lying, you overly explain everything. Classic liar at work here. Victim blaming. Yep.
Boom, 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 bop, bam.
Blames her for everything and just completely trash talks her. Like, I cannot even begin to imagine what this girl went through. I know I could assume that he fed into her delusions too, probably extensively, to try to make her look more crazy than she actually was, if she ever even had delusions. Knock a hole in the wall. Now he's making it sound like she's a violent criminal. I mean, why not, I really think his plan was to make her look mentally ill, to discredit her. There's proof, you piece of shit. It's exactly what he did. And the police backed him. It's sick.
Anyway, I think that was just a made up thing. And I think that her tire just got something ran over, from what I understand. I don't know. I didn't see anything. But I did hire the PI before. I did everything I could to stop her from getting a weapon, everything you could imagine. I hired a private eye, and I said, put a tracker on her car, and if she gets anywhere near a gun store, please let me know. I did everything I could think of. And
did that private eye alert you?
She never.
That day?
No, I had stopped paying for it about 4 weeks beforehand. Yeah.
Why?
Running out of money, and people telling me that she was totally fine, and I'm wasting my time.
So what do you say to the doubters and critics?
I think he stopped doing it because the police were catching on to him. And I mean, keep in mind, in this interview, he just emphatically denied the fucking deflation devices, when in the indictment, we know for a fact he bought them off Amazon and did that to his car. Hey, Victoria. Good to see you, love. Thank you for the compliment. He is full of just, his eyes are brown. He's so full of shit. I can't look at him either. He's such a fucking asshole. I'm going to play this for a second. I need to start a pot of coffee so I can get some coffee, because I just drank my Red Bull, but I've got my earbud in and I'm listening.
To say you drove her to suicide.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. So wait, she wasn't with me. Because listen, with me, she didn't commit suicide. Apart from me for 3 months and with her family, she did commit suicide. One of the last things she showed me a book she's reading called "I Love Jesus, But I Want to Die." And I said, "Why do you want to die?" She said, "Because I can't come home because my family won't let me." That's what I say to them.
Still to come, there is no question John Paul Miller's behavior has seemed odd in the weeks and months since Mica died. And after the break, he tries to explain it, like why he dressed like Spider-Man and walked around his neighborhood, and why he was squealing like a child while rolling around on the grass.
I'd love to know his excuse for that. I think he 100% drove her to do it, and I think that was his intention. Yeah, exactly, because he tortured the fuck out of her. I think the police are more involved too, to be honest. Dung beetles like him act like they were the victim's savior. Really. I've never looked at what dung beetles do. I totally blanked on the fact that we could see you. Oh! Well, thank you, Sam. Sometimes I feel like I look uglier, but thank you. I don't know the age of his children, but I'm hoping that his first wife has 100% complete custody of them. I think he gets visits, but I don't know the extent of it. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Need a minute.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
What on earth led to this? All that next. When Mica Miller died almost 3 months ago, her family and her friends most certainly hoped that she'd rest in peace. But that has not happened. Since that tragic day, her estranged husband, Pastor John Paul Miller, has been the subject of whispers and rumors and rampant suspicion, even though the pastor hasn't been charged with anything.
Okay.
JP, as he's known to his family and friends, he's been very tight-lipped, saying almost nothing publicly about what happened to his wife.
I think that's because he's more involved than he wants anyone to believe. Thought it got back to the interview. Let's see.
Rich McHugh.
So sorry.
He
I'm
is.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Need a minute.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
What's tripping you up?
Just being able to tell. Just being able to talk about everything. It feels like
There is a little bit of wetness right there, but not probably from him mashing his eyeballs. Notice that high pitch he just did, just like when he was being attacked by the ants.
people don't care to hear the truth. They just want to go off of feelings and believe, whoever screams the loudest rather than whoever, has the proof.
Do you feel that you did?
They want to believe whoever screams the loudest rather than who has the proof. So again, I think he made sure he had proof of things that weren't happening. He had proof of her being psychotic because he drove her to be psychotic. So he did all these things so he would have proof for the police. It is so ridiculously fake. And I keep in mind, I keep going back to how the fuck did he get an entire congregation to follow him in their walk with God? This guy, for real?
Anything that you would change? Do you feel any part responsible?
Exactly.
God, that's a great question.
Hey, Chugga.
Man, that's such a good question. Wow, what a good question. Can I have a second to think
Yep.
about it?
Sure.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. What would I do differently? Oh man.
South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
I know what I do. I know what I do. I would not involve her family when she's having mental episodes and is schizophrenic. And
Now she's schizophrenic out of nowhere, number one. Number two, I would not involve her family. I would isolate her so I'm the only person that she has while I torture her. Okay.
off her meds. I would never have texted them.
We've seen you dressed as Spider-Man in videos.
Okay, let me just wait, hold on.
Probably.
I'm not Spider-Man.
I
can neither confirm nor deny.
To me, it says Spider-Man as the person who's texting me. So we've seen you in videos dressed as Spider-Man. We know there's a Spider-Man character in your back of your house somewhere. Her family wonders if you have identity issues and this need to align with superheroes. What's your reaction? And what's the reason for the Spider-Man?
Well, first of all,
Y'all, this grown man that is the preacher of a mega church in Myrtle Beach is having an identity crisis and thinks he's Spider-Man. What do you think about that?
Maybe because he keeps finding cobwebs on his old lady's.
Okay. No, you don't even know the story. That was an unacceptable answer, but I'll give you grace because you don't know the story. I wonder if they take all their medicine. He needs some fucking medicine. He's definitely under the influence. He is acting bizarre for sure. Like, he's the one that should have been on medication.
Neither confirm nor deny that I've ever put on a Spider-Man costume.
What?
But you'll never see me in the same room with Spider-Man, I will say that. And I don't know, people say stuff. Me and Micah would go to...
Yeah.
Not you, so you don't get in a Spider-Man costume? I mean, you just sent me a picture with you and Spider-Man.
Me and Micah, we go to Comic-Cons every year. We both dress up. Micah dressed up more than I did, actually. There are times I didn't dress up and she did. We love that kind of stuff. She was Wonder Woman, she was Spider-Woman, she was Mystique, she was a lot of different characters.
So you're not even going to grant that there's something odd here?
No, I'm not.
Look at this picture where he's acting like Spider-Man. Oh, I thought that was Micah. Okay, I see squatted now with a child. Yeah, that's fucking... I mean, if you're going to Comic-Con or something and there's a reason for it, that's one thing. But you've got a Spider-Man in your backyard? He's a child, mentally. He's not grown up enough. God, I wonder what he did to his high school girlfriends, if he tormented them like that. But she's schizophrenic. Exactly, Sam.
Bop, boom, 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 bop, bam.
She's schizophrenic. Yeah, Mr. Speculating said he's mental as fuck.
No. I put on the Spider-Man costume. I go see handicapped children. I'll go visit kids that, love comic books and that are handicapped, and I'll
That's
pretend
one
like I'm
day.
Spider-Man, and I'll take them a comic book and do videos with them and stuff like that.
One of the videos that has surfaced
Oh, that's one thing. I feel like it's something completely different.
recently is from years ago. And I'm sure you know what it is. You're sitting face down on the ground and you're freaking out and you're talking about, you're literally squealing about being eaten by ants. Taking the wrong meds, that you missed
Ooh,
your
you
family.
can tell that made him nervous.
Is your medication something they gave you?
I mean, for viewers, for people watching it, the common thought is, what is going on here, and do you have a drug problem?
Yeah.
So I fell out of a tree, a giant magnolia tree. It was like 300 years old. I broke 12 bones. It was 10 to 12 bones. I don't know if you count fingers. Yeah, it is count fingers. Anyway, I have all this metal in my body, and I'd never taken pain meds in my life, and I just had my body cast taken off, and so I took a little bit too much pain meds that day.
Full stop. No, it wasn't pain meds. Number one, if you broke 12 bones in your body and you were in a body cast, they would have given you pain meds before that day if you had pain meds for when they were taken out. Like, it does not even make logical sense to give somebody pain meds when they come out of the cast and not give them any when they're in the cast or before they're in the cast. Yeah, his little squeaks. I feel like if I squeeze his neck, his head's just going to pop like a balloon. Hey, Becky, good to see you. I hope you have a good day at work. Yeah, he's laughing. Other women have spoken out from the church. Yep. Yeah, like did he ever hit puberty? Like there's so much here to even begin to dissect. I'd love to see like the behavioral panel cover him. There's just so much. Spiritual said he had his body cast taken off. Welcome to the crazy zone. Yeah, it's and you can tell that man did not just have a body cast taken off in that picture. It don't look like it to me anyway. I wasn't there, to be fair, but didn't seem like it to me.
That's it.
That's
just
it.
What? Percocet?
I don't remember any of them. It was
Look.
2000.
And let me tell y'all something. I used to have a problem with Percocet. and I have taken 90 Percocet in about a 6-hour period, and I've never acted like that.
2016, and it was like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever, and I was
Should
missing
be
my family.
dead.
My wife,
That's how many
Micah, and
I've
I, we
taken at
started
one
through an
time. I
affair,
should be
and so
dead,
we were both
and I
married
ain't
to
never
people,
act
and
like that.
we got divorced, and I was missing my family because I'd lost my family at the time, and I was on pain meds, and it just all went together. I fell out of a tree, broke a bunch of bones, took too many pain meds. That was that story.
Not hallucinogenics.
No.
At that age, like, you fell out of a magnolia tree while you were an adult, and you had just had the body cast taken off while you were an adult, because he's acting like that was his first day out of the body cast. He took the medicine and was on the ground talking about ants the day after he had his body cast taken off. So that would mean when he climbed this magnolia tree and fell out, he was an adult, not a child. So again, it just doesn't even make sense.
What would hallucinogenic be?
Make you hallucinate.
Well, what makes you hallucinate?
Drugs.
Like illegal drugs?
Hallucinogenic drugs, yeah.
Oh, I've never done a legal drug my whole life.
Okay.
Well, oh crap, that was a lie. I'm sorry, that was a lie. When I was 16 years old, one time I was in a truck with two of my friends, and they were both smoking pot. I didn't smoke any, but they do a thing called hot box, and so I got some of that. And I tried steroids one time.
Like, preacher's son through and through, in my opinion. I think that's the end of that interview. Y'all, I cannot. Yeah, you think it looks like a drug break? I think he could be on some drugs, but it's just. And to know he's like got all these freaking lawsuits against people and shit. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, what the hell is he talking about? I need to grab my coffee, and we're going to go over this paperwork. Let me pull something up. I'm going to pull up a video for y'all to watch real quick while I just grab some coffee. Here we got a 2-minute and 56-second video about his indictment. We're going to watch that. I wouldn't, and that's the thing for me. Like, I can't understand, Ruby, how he is the pastor of this church. I mean, it's got to do with his dad being the pastor of the church. And I guess he inherited the right to be a pastor. He went to school for it or whatever, but like, he's even pulling the preacher kid bullshit. Oh, technically I've done illegal drugs because I smoke pot. That's such a preacher's child thing to say. And he's playing into that some kind of fucking hard. I'm going to grab the link for this real quick while I go grab my coffee so that I can read to you guys the documents on his father that we have to go through. So this is about the indictment. This video is from 3 days ago and is from WMFB News. I'll drop the link. House of Frio, good to see you. This man lies like the rug on my floor. Yep. Lies like a rug. Yeah, you were in a hot box. What a baddie. He did, didn't he, Ruby? He does sound like Breaker from the Muppets, and he kind of looks like him at times to me, too. If you didn't know the backstory, would you believe him? That's a good question. I'm going to leave y'all with that. If y'all didn't know the backstory, would you believe him after watching that interview? All right, I'm going to get my coffee.
Coverage for you tonight following the federal indictment of former Solid Rock Church pastor John Paul Miller. He's facing 2 counts, including cyber stalking his late wife, Mica Miller. Our Sydney Ryan is breaking down that indictment, also has reactions from Mica Miller's family attorney.
This 3-page indictment is the first time John Paul Miller has been indicted with anything related to do with his late estranged wife, Mica Miller.
This is the beginning of holding him accountable. Would I like to see more? Yes, I would. But I'm thrilled to know that we got this. I know that the public was getting a little bit impatient. I admit I probably was a little bit myself, going, when is this going to happen? But the wheels of justice turn slowly, and there's a reason for that.
Former Solid Rock Church pastor John Paul Miller has been indicted by a federal grand jury for cyberstalking Mica Miller and making false statements. Mica died in April of 2024, and the circumstances and investigation into her death captured national attention due to allegations surrounding her marriage to John Paul. The first count in the indictment is cyberstalking, which prosecutors say occurred from November 2022 to April 2024, alleging that
2 years of cyber stalking. Sam said, I wouldn't either. I think the fact that he was a pastor would play a role for me. And I would think, well, he was the pastor of a church, so he's got to be telling the truth, right? And I shouldn't think like that. But a lot of people do, unfortunately. And it being honest, that would be my first thought process. He's the pastor of like a big church in Myrtle Beach. So yeah, he's telling the truth. Why would he lie? I mean, this man tells us how to walk with God, right? But, since I've learned about how churches really are, and a lot of them, unfortunately, are about money, some of them, I don't know. I've obviously never been to every church in every town everywhere, but I would probably believe him, being honest. And the fact that he was a preacher would play a role. That's why it's so off-putting to me to know that he ran that church for so long. Because who the fuck is following this man? Like, I would have left.
during that time, John Paul sent Mica unwanted harassing messages, once calling her more than 50 times in one day. He is also accused of damaging and placing tracking devices on her car. Mica's family attorney tells me she is, quote, very happy, unquote, to see the indictment.
When you read through this indictment and count one, which the victim one is Mica, it's exhausting by the time you get to the end of that one paragraph. And to think about living in that type of circumstance on a daily, regular basis, nonstop, is extreme emotional abuse.
The second count is false statements. Federal investigators interviewed John Paul about the cyberstalking allegations, and it's alleged he lied in his responses, claiming that on March 11th of 2024, Mica called him more times than he called her. The indictment says he called her at least 50 times more than she called him. Additionally, the indictment says John Paul claimed he did not damage Mica's car, but agents allege he used a tire deflation device on her tires. Ward tells me...
So again, keep in mind that in that interview, he denied it. So we got to see exactly what he looked like when he was lying. And this is the FBI.
She believes this indictment is the beginning of holding John Paul accountable for his alleged emotional abuse of Mica. What do you hope happens next?
Well, I hope we get a conviction on all counts.
Yeah, me too.
And maximum sentence.
Me too.
I just hope that what we have will end in justice for Mica and justice for all victims of emotional abuse.
John Paul Miller's arraignment is scheduled for January 12th in federal court in Florence. Reporting in Horry County, Sydney Ryan, WMBF News.
So we'll definitely be watching that indictment when it happens. So this article, I apologize, from Fitz News is giving us some court documentation about his dad. So we're going to read through it and we're going to look at the court documents and learn a little bit more about his dad, because I feel like it plays a major role into why J.P. Miller is who he is. Excuse me. Hannah said, I don't think I would either, but I know the backstory, so I feel like my opinion is tainted. Right. I could see that. I think a lot of people in positions of power rely on that to get their narrative believed. It's sad. It is. And it works, It does, because we see these people in positions of power and we know that they're, they didn't get there by being stupid, you would think. You know what I mean? So they do, and they'll use that against you. Obviously, JP did. Kalisa said also his father had been pastor in the area, so his family was established. My experience in the South was that if your family was there for many years, it was almost impossible to go up against them. And that's a big thing in this case, Kalisa, and I'm glad you pointed that out. because it's really important to remember that when we're talking about cases like this. And the Murdochs were from South Carolina. They had photos of the Murdochs on the wall in the courthouse, and their family being like, because when you're a judge, you start off as a lawyer and then you can be a judge after so many years of experience, right? And there's pictures of his family as judges going all the way back to the 1800s. Like somebody in that family was a judge for like for all the way back to 1846, I think it was. I could be wrong, but it was something like that. An extensive line of judges and lawyers. So, I mean, it all goes back to the good old boy system. And once you have your name established in that area, you get control, you have power, you have the ability to do things. There's not usually cameras in federal court. Oh, yep, you're right. You're right. But we'll get updates, hopefully, and we'll cover that. I hope they do. They're going to have to relate it to the case specifically, so they might not. I don't know, because he did directly lie about the deflation device in that interview, so maybe they'll get to see it. I don't know. I'm a skeptic that anyone in position of power have to really prove their sincerity before I believe them. That's a good way to be. His father was very well known. I have a friend whose hubby is a pastor in the area. He did help people leaving that church. That's good. I'm glad that your friend's hubby is a good pastor. Thank God for that. All right, so we have Mica. I have a message. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see what this message says real quick. Okay, I think we're good. So this is Micah. I apologize for mispronouncing her name. And in this article from Fitz News, it reads, in the final weeks of her life, Mica Miller was hopeful. Her closest friends recall a woman who was finally finding her voice and planning a future without her allegedly abusive husband. None of them saw any indication that she was planning to end her life. Yet, certainly none of them had any idea her body would turn up miles away from home in a remote pond at the Lumbee River State Park in North Carolina. Yet, according to North Carolina investigators and medical examiners, that's exactly what happened. On Monday, May 6th of 2024, North Carolina medical examiner Dr. Richard Johnson officially released the cause and manner of death in connection with the high-profile alleged self-deletion of the beautiful pastor's wife from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on Saturday, April 27th of 2024. According to Johnson's findings, 30-year-old Mica Miller died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The following day, Tuesday, May 7th of 2024, the Robeson County NC Sheriff's Office officially ruled Miller's death a self-deletion and cleared her husband, Pastor John Paul J.P. Miller, as a suspect. Those declarations shocked Mica's family and friends, especially in light of everything she had shared with them about her separation from the embattled pastor, including the divorce papers served on him less than 48 hours before she died. Rumors have run wild and questions continue outpacing answers as it relates to the official narrative of what transpired and who is involved in the investigation. So, Pastor Wayne Miller is what I have clicked on. This is from, this is 31 pages. This looks like it's a map of the area where she might have been found. So I'll drop the link to this in the description box. We're going to go to Pastor Wayne Miller and look at these documents. Let me see if I can, yep. So we're going to pull it up this way. We're going to go through these two today. And as long as I don't forget, I will put these documents on my Patreon so you guys can see them. But I'm going to give you the link to get them yourself in the description box. Thank you, Hannah. Oh. Yeah, we do, Kim Gettle. We do got another Clinton, in my opinion. The power of being an established family in the South is something that is hard to understand if you haven't experienced it. Yep. It's almost like living in a different country. It really is. It really, really is. The The good old boy system runs deep. It's sad. All right, so this was filed May 22nd of 2014, and it is a criminal complaint. It's only one page it says anyway. This says page 1 of 1, but there's 8 total. And it is the United States of America versus Reginald Wayne Miller. Now, this again is John Paul Miller's dad. I, the complainant in this case, state the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. On or about the dates of May 21st, 2014, in the County of Marion, in the District of South Carolina, the defendant violated forced labor. The criminal complaint is based on these facts. So this is the affidavit. I, Christopher Scott Havlin, being duly sworn upon oath, depose and state as follows. 1, I am a special agent with the Homeland Security Investigation, or HSI, and have been employed by HSI for 7 years. So this is going to go into his background, okay? We're going to skip that. 4, this affidavit is in support of an arrest warrant and application for a search warrant for the premises known as Cathedral Bible College, which is located in South Carolina. So the fact that his dad runs Cathedral Bible College, I'm willing to bet money that's the college that J.P. Miller graduated from in order to become a pastor. And the fact that his daddy owned the college plays a role in that, in my opinion. I bet he let his little baby slide past doing whatever the hell he wanted to do and gave him his certificate and his diploma to be a preacher. That plays a big role. I did not know that it was an actual college. I doubt J.P. Miller would be a preacher right now had it not been for his dad's Bible college. Continuing, further, as set forth below, I have probable cause to believe that Dr. Reggie Miller, in the head of Cathedral Bible College, is engaging in the practice of forced labor, a violation of code. Probable cause to believe that the offense forced labor has been committed. Background. 6. The United States requires individuals from most foreign countries to obtain a visa prior to entry into the United States. Immigrant visas are required for foreign citizens who intend to immigrate to the United States. Non-immigrant visas are required for foreign citizens who intend to enter on a temporary basis, such as for tourism, medical treatment, business, temporary work, or study. A foreign citizen who wishes to enter and remain in the United States to pursue a course of study at a college, university, seminary, conservatory, academic high school, or other academic institution, or for English language training, must first obtain a F1 non-immigrant visa. Okay, and it talks about how to do that. We don't need to specifically read through how to become a citizen and all of that. And this is just telling us about an F1 visa. It's valid for the duration of the status, which is as long as the foreign citizen is enrolled as a full-time student in an educational program. Okay. Upon completion of the educational program, the foreign citizen must depart the United States within 60 days. So it's basically talking about the visa that you have in order to come go to school, and then you have to leave 60 days later. As stated above, only certified schools can issue the form to do the visa, is what this is saying, breaking it down. It's an I-20 form. When a foreign student is inspected for admission into the United States, he will show the form I-20 to the inspecting officer. Okay. As part of the responsibility, they maintain up-to-date and accurate records for each foreign student. So he's supposed to maintain up-to-date and accurate records for each of his foreign students that are going to the Bible college. Okay. He must keep student records, financial ability, transcripts, proof of students' enrollment for the last 3 years, et cetera, the curriculum. Okay, now we're on to what he did. On May 21st of 2014, HSI special agents conducted interviews with 8 individuals who provided statements as to their experiences at Cathedral Bible College under the supervision of Dr. Miller. These individuals described a pervasive climate of fear in which their legal status as non-immigrant students was in constant jeopardy. At the sole discretion of Dr. Miller, who threatened expulsion and therefore termination of their legal presence in the United States for non-compliance with his demands. So basically, he's got students there and he's saying, I'll expel you and then you'll have to leave the United States if they disagreed with him or didn't go with whatever he told them to do. Using his position of power to get what he wants. So, obviously, JP got it honest. Kimmy C123, good to see you, love. I wish he had been accused of homicide, Anders. That would have made my day. I guess there's no real way we will ever know if she actually did self-delete. Hopefully the charges against him hold enough weight to put him away anyhow. And that's where I think a lot of people are at with it. I wish he would be charged with homicide, but I doubt he ever will. I didn't inhale. Yeah, I took a puff, but I didn't inhale. It's insane. I don't believe the feds would indict him without being confident in the case, in my opinion. I agree, Hannah. Her poor family, they knew and they tried to help, sounds like, but didn't control her decisions. Exactly. It's sad. Okay, continuing. These individuals paid significant sums of money to travel to the U.S. to attend the college. The students committed and traveled to attend at personal expense as a result of Dr. Miller's misrepresentations regarding their education, working, and housing situations. Once they arrived, these individuals found a pervasive climate of fear and intimidation. These demands and threats were viewed as credible by the individuals interviewed by HSI on May 21st of 2014 due to Dr. Miller's ability to enter and modify information into the system. Therefore, although these individuals possessed their immigration documents, the benefits inferred by these documents were subject to adjustment and nullification by Dr. Miller. As such, these students endured work schedules that were outside the bounds of those permitted by federal regulations for immigrant students, including performing work under hostile conditions and duress, and work serving a primary benefit to Dr. Miller himself, including labor and upkeep of his personal residence. Furthermore, these individuals reported not receiving promised compensation and living in conditions that were substandard, including long periods of no hot water, no heat, and no air conditioning. And the food was expired or insufficient for consumption and nutrition. Holy shit. Like, that brings in a whole ethics, racism, immigration. Like, I don't want to bring up those trigger words, but like, you've got immigrant students here that you're forcing to clean your fucking house, not even providing them with hot water to take a shower, air conditioning in the summer, and feeding them food that's expired. What the fuck? Wow. That's so fucked up. Like, JP Miller got it honest. I swear to God. This is sick. Dear old daddy told him exactly what to do. On May 21st of 2024, an interview was conducted with some of the visa students, and they stated that on May 12th of 2014, she received an email from Dr. Miller threatening that if she did not show up for graduation at the college, then Dr. Miller would cancel her status and her F1 optional practice training. She also stated that Dr. Miller conducts most of his correspondence using his laptop. On May 21st of 2014, an interview was conducted with another student, and that person is a student at Cathedral Bible College, further referred to as CBC, who advised he is here on a scholarship. Immediately after arriving, he noticed that the classes were not real, and they are set around a work schedule which is set up by Dr. Miller. Again, he noticed that the classes were not real. So what the fuck was he doing? The student stated that he worked approximately 30 to 35 hours per week at the school. The student stated that on May 14th of 2024, he was working outside with 3 other individuals, 2 of which were Americans. When it started to rain, the Americans were allowed to go inside, but he and the other individual were told to keep working by Dr. Miller. There we go. Proof that he's a racist son of a bitch, in my opinion. You can't make this shit up. These people should have been banished from that area a long fucking time ago. Dr. Miller also threatened to call the police if he complained. The student stated he was supposed to be paid $50 a week, according to the contract with the college, and that it is normal for him to work additional hours outside of his work schedule. He also stated that he goes to Dr. Miller's residence twice a month to do work. On May 21st of 2014, an interview was conducted with the student, and he stated that he was told to teach science at the college while he is a student there, but he has no training in teaching science. He also said that he tutors Dr. Miller's grandson at the college and also runs the audio-visual equipment at the college. So this student that's not even trained to be a scientist, teaching while he's a student, is also teaching JP's son. More than likely it's JP's son. He might have other kids, but what the fuck? Yeah, they were using the school as a front for illegal labor. And see, Dr. Miller would go in and he would enter in information regarding their visa status. So if they said they didn't want to, if they said, I'm not a science teacher, I'm a student, and I can't teach science because I know nothing about it, he would go in and fuck with their visa so they'd be kicked out of the country. One of them was there on a scholarship. So he's getting paid money basically for them to go to school there while using them for labor, telling them he's going to pay them and then not paying them, and having them help him front the school because it's not actually a school. Yeah, it's another way of human trafficking. Exactly. Wow. So he said that Dr. Miller is the one who makes the schedule for the work at the school and that he's afraid to say anything to Dr. Miller for fear of being expelled. The student also stated that he has done work at Dr. Miller's residence in the past. On May 21st of 2014, an interview was conducted with another student, and that person stated he was a student at the college and would work approximately 32 hours per week and get paid $50 a week most of the time. Like, that's a little over $1 per hour, y'all. Before coming to the United States, the student was told he would only be working 15 to 20 hours a week. Dr. Miller told the student if he did not like this work, he could go home to Nepal, or he could call the Immigration and Naturalization Services, or INS. On May 21st of 2014, an interview was conducted with another person who said he was a student and he worked 32 to 33 hours per week and got $50 a week. He recently received a raise and is now making $91 a week. On May 21st of 2014, an interview was conducted with another student who said he would make $100 per week for work study, but he was told he would make $100 a week, but only made $50. The student stated he worked between 46 to 56 hours a week and that he worked for over 2 months without any pay. He said he's been to Dr. Miller's residence multiple times to do work. So the school's a front for human trafficking. Another one says at one point, Dr. Miller told him he needed to work harder in order to receive the necessary paperwork, which is the I-20 for his visa status, to return back to the United States from a visit to Costa Rica to visit his family. When Dr. Miller finally gave him the paperwork, Dr. Miller told him when he returned from Costa Rica, he would then work 28 hours a week, but get paid $25 a week until his work improved. That's less than $1 an hour because he went to go visit his fucking family. Another interview was conducted, and that student said he was on scholarship and he works 30 hours a week. At one point, Dr. Miller told him he could have Americans do his work and he could go back to Peru. The student stated when he first arrived, he did not get paid for over a month while he was working. The student's work is subject to U.S. minimum wage and hour laws. Dr. Miller does not have any exemption or authorization to pay the students at the below minimum wage rates described by the students. Of the individuals interviewed, multiple individuals stated that they originally communicated with Dr. Miller via Facebook and email. Therefore, there is reason to believe that Dr. Miller uses a computer and or other electronic device capable of electronic communication. Based on the foregoing facts, there is probable cause to believe that an arrest warrant should be issued for Reginald Wayne Miller for the violations of U.S. Code. So his dad, in my opinion, is a racist, human trafficking piece of shit that lied about owning and operating a Christian school. We know that so far. And then I think this is the plea agreement. I know you can't see it yet. Yep. So this is the plea agreement, which is 13 pages. There's also some information I found about him stating something about RAPED by demons. I emailed it to myself. Hold on, let me pull that up. We'll detour to that real quick, and then we'll go over the plea agreement. Yep. RAPED by demons. Myrtle Beach pastors accused of sexual psychological abuse. So I got to give it a minute to load. It's going to be stupid. Horry County, South Carolina, a second Jane Doe has come forward and accused embattled Myrtle Beach pastor and his father of sexual impropriety. Wednesday, filed by Jane Doe number 2 against John Paul Miller and his father, Wayne Miller, as well as their respective religious organizations, quote, All Nations Cathedral Church, Solid Rock. It out from being arrested a while back.
Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, Bellas. Me too. I agree, sweetheart. What the fuck was that? Lord have mercy, them underwear. So there's a picture of the church. There's his dad. Look at him looking scared. That's where they were searching the home. There's him and Micah. She was so pretty. She deserves so much better. His mugshot. The home they shared. Vacation. John Paul Miller's location on Saturday, April 27th. So they're showing that he was in town. Like, even here, it looks to me like she's fake smiling. Okay, it continues, quote, For years, John Paul Miller and Reginald Wayne Miller have presented themselves as devout religious leaders. They built their reputations in Myrtle Beach community and beyond as men of faith, dedicated to spreading God's word and training future church leaders. But this image was a lie. Behind their religious facade, John Paul Miller and Reginald Wayne Miller engaged in sexual abuse and predatory conduct, often targeting minors. They use their positions of power to manipulate and exploit vulnerable victims while concealing their actions from the public, the summary section of the lawsuit reads. The court filing says John Paul and Reginald Wayne operations shared leadership and effectively operated as one entity. The lawsuit alleges Miller's religious organizations, quote, operated without adequate protection for minors, creating an environment where abuse could thrive, unquote. This was not accidental. It was part of a calculated plan to groom victims while simultaneously gaining the community's trust and financial support, unquote. The lawsuit reads, quote, the defendants, both individually and together, have built, maintained, and concealed a system of sexual misconduct and harmed numerous minors, including plaintiff Jane Doe number 2. Here we have the lawsuit. I'm not going to read through all of it today, but I will try to get it on Patreon. We're going to have dinner at Jason's mom's house this evening. So when I get back, I'll leave this up and try to get that on Patreon, as well as the other documents we were reading for you guys. Jane Doe, too, was 14 years old at the time of the alleged assaults and claims coverage of the death of John Paul's estranged wife, Mica Miller, triggered repressed memories of the assaults she said occurred between 1999 and 2001. The plaintiff says she enrolled at Cathedral Hall Academy in the fall of 1999. Her parents believed the private Christian school in Myrtle Beach was the best decision for her education. The school was run by Pastor Wayne Miller and his son John Paul. The lawsuit states, quote, who portrayed themselves as devout men of God, offering faith-based education and a nurturing environment, unquote. Instead, the lawsuit continues, quote, plaintiff walked into a nightmare. Cathedral Hall Academy was not a school, it was a trap. What should have been a place of learning became a place of control, fear, and unchecked abuse. I mean, all par for the course for these motherfuckers. That sounds really good, Hannah. A kid in your high school class was named J.P. Miller? That's interesting. I hope he was a better J.P. than this fuckstain. Lord have mercy. I'm just skimming through it. Quote, she barely had time to react before John Paul's hands. Okay, hold on. Jane Doe number 2 says on one day in the fall of 1999, she found herself alone at church with John Paul, who was seated at the piano playing softly when he asked her if she wanted to play the instrument. Quote, at 14, Jane Doe 2 was trusting and saw no reason to decline, unquote, the filing says. Right, because she's going to school there. He's an adult and she's a child. As she turned to leave, she says John Paul pulled her into a hug. Quote, she barely had time to react before John Paul's hands moved down her back, past her waist, and under her clothing and touching her bare butt, unquote, Jane 2 alleges in the lawsuit. Trigger warning. Sorry about that. The girl reported her incident to a teacher, the lawsuit says, but instead of receiving help, she was sent to Reginald Wayne Miller's office. Quote, when she arrived, John Paul was already there. Reginald demanded she repeat her accusation with his son standing beside him. Her voice wavered and she told the truth. Wayne did not ask for details. He did not care. He shouted at her, you will not lie about my son. Then came her punishment. The plaintiff said she was forced to write the words, I will not lie about John Paul Miller 5,000 times. In the days that follow, Jane Doe 2 says the, quote, torment escalated, unquote. And taking their cues from the Millers, the students at the school turned on her, quote, with full force, calling her a liar, a whore, and a slut. Quote, they whispered behind her back and shoved notes under her desk and made her life a daily humiliation. The lawsuit says one afternoon, two girls grabbed Jane Doe 2 from behind and held her arms back, while another girl ripped open her shirt and stuffed tissues into her bra. Quote, John Paul Miller, supposedly the teacher, was present and laughed. On other occasions, Jane Doe 2 says the boys and girls shoved her into the bathroom stalls, slapped her, and yanked her hair. Quote, one student even held her down and sprayed bug spray into her mouth and eyes while others watched. Through it all, the filing continues. John Paul was there, smirking, encouraging, and watching. Jane Doe 2 says her experience with Reginald Wayne Miller was no different. Once he found her out crying, she says he said to her, stop disturbing the Lord's work and repent for your lies. The message was clear. No one would protect her. Y'all. I'm gonna read this, but it's really pissing me the fuck off. So I might go after this. I'm probably gonna go after this so we can get ready to go to Mr. Speculating's mom's house, and we'll continue reading the plea agreement and these documents tomorrow. But let's finish this because I can tell you I'm gonna read this, but I'm gonna have to go. I can't. Another afternoon, Jane Doe alleges John Paul cornered her alone in the classroom, telling her she'd failed a test and stating that she needed extra help and that if she stayed after class, he could fix it for her. She hesitated, but obeyed, unquote, the document says, and the girl sat down in the chair near the piano. The plaintiff says John Paul began small talk with her, asking her things like, quote, did she like him and did she have a boyfriend, unquote. Like number one, he's graduated from the school more than likely, in my opinion, because his daddy owns the school and is letting him run around and do whatever the fuck he wants. Why are you, as a grown-ass man, as a teacher, asking a girl that you've literally tormented if she likes men, if she likes him? And if he's doing this to high school children at the school, can we even begin to fathom what Mica went through? It makes me want to vomit. It makes me furious. I hope you've gotten some Christmas shopping done, Abellis. Quote, his hand moved to her knee and she froze, and he leaned in further and said he could protect if she would let him. He then grabbed her and physically assaulted her by putting his hands under her skirt and shirt and touching her sexually. She struggled to push him away, but he was stronger and pushed her down, the allegations read in the complaint. Quote, the horrors of Cathedral Hall Academy were not just physical and sexual, they were psychological, unquote, the lawsuit states. Like, again, I mean, it's a pattern. It's a pattern of abuse started by his father and continued by him all the way to Mica until one day somebody died because of it, and that was Mica. Jane Doe 2 says when she brought a Harry Potter book to school, she was called in the office where they, quote, berated her, called her a servant of Satan, and told her that if she continued down this path, she would be raped by demons. Then, right in front of her, they set the book on fire. Reginald Wayne Miller then beat her with a Bible, poured water over her head. She was 16 years old. For a fucking Harry Potter book. The lawsuit says John Paul and Reginald Wayne, quote, emotionally manipulated, emotionally abused, inappropriately touched, used harsh language, sexually abused John Paul Miller only, and assaulted Jane Doe 2. Like the first lawsuit, the filing from Jane Doe 2 cites 2 sworn affidavits, one from Allison Williams, John Paul's ex-wife, and another from Susan Miller, Reginald Wayne's ex-wife. In Williams' affidavit from 2024, the lawsuit states John Paul confessed to her that he had been sexually inappropriate with several underage female members of the church, then blamed his behavior on his own childhood sexual abuse, allegedly at the hands of his father. Williams' testimony also stated the church leadership was aware of allegations of sexual misconduct by John Paul and ordered him to enroll in a sexual addiction rehabilitation program, though Williams claimed he never completed the program. So he's admitting to all this, knowing he's doing wrong, saying he has an addiction to sex, and then they tell him to go to rehab for it, and then he doesn't ever complete it. And I'm sure Daddy signed right off saying that he did complete it. I mean, this is just so much. Fucking mega churches of the South, good old boy system, Daddy's name, position, and power, giving them the pathway and ability to do whatever the fuck he wants, and him being able to do whatever the fuck he wants. It's a learned fucking behavior. And he's acting like a high school student while being a teacher at a high school. And then Mica is coming along after all this, after probably having been in that school. She was at least a member of the church. I don't know if she was in that school, experiencing all this shit, feeling like he really loved her and that they were supposed to be together, and then dealing with, could you imagine? I mean, if he's sitting there laughing while they're spraying bug spray and shoving tissues down this girl's bra, could you imagine the fucking tactics he used on Mica? Your husband that's supposed to support you using high school tactics. Exactly. Taxed exempt predator clubhouse. There's like no other way to describe it. Spiritual conduit. Exactly. Rosie, good to see you. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and that you're blessed as well, sweetheart. It is. They are freaking cults. The lawsuit accused church leadership of suppressing allegations against John Paul and silencing victims, quote, enabling his continued leadership within the church, unquote. The plaintiff states in the lawsuit that she's in possession of a text, quote, purportedly from John Paul Miller to another person where he admits being in relationships with 2 different 15-year-old girls when he was 19 years old, unquote. Susan Miller's 2007 sworn testimony, quote, detailed how Reginald Wayne Miller physically and emotionally abused his family and exercised absolute control over both his household and his church congregation, unquote. Jane Doe's lawsuit cites Susan's affidavit again, stating Reginald Wayne Miller's, quote, obsession with power and control extended beyond his immediate family and into the church, where he engaged in inappropriate relationships with young men and women, many of who were vulnerable members of the congregation. So he's targeting vulnerable members of the congregation. That goes back to the trafficking he was doing of students there on immigration visas. Boy, the devil got in that church if it ever got in any church. Susan's testimony states she heard, quote, rumors, unquote, and, quote, sexual innuendo, unquote, regarding her husband after WPD aired a 5-part story about Wayne in 1989, in which several young men from his congregation appeared with blurred faces and disguised voices, sharing stories of how, quote, Wayne tried making sexual advances toward them, unquote. Susan says she, quote, became fearful for my children and for herself, unquote. Keep in mind, this is 1989. Do y'all remember the shit that would be talked about, the jokes that would be made on TV in 1989? How bad it had to be for somebody to listen to anybody about things like that. Like, it had to be horrific. in 1989, because a lot of these things were socially acceptable, about like, smacking a woman's ass occasionally at work. Well, you might try to say something that maybe your Lord have mercy, your boss might be like, oh, it's just men being men. Like, whereas today that wouldn't be acceptable, right? If somebody smacked your ass when you walk by, you wouldn't say it was just men being men. And I'm not saying everywhere back then was, but it was a lot more lax on things like sexual harassment in 1989 than it is today. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it had to be real bad for it to be aired as a 5-part series on TV in 1989. Quote, plaintiff is informed and believes that Reginald Wayne Miller's predatory behavior spans decades, and that his son, John Paul Miller, learned and adopted his father's abusive practices, unquote, the court filing says. Imagine that. Like, again, just like father, like son, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The lawsuit also states Reginald Wayne Miller was arrested in Myrtle Beach in 2006 for attempting to solicit a lady of the night in a city park, and that despite the, quote, overwhelming evidence of prior misconduct, unquote, against John Paul and Reginald Wayne, the pair, quote, continued to operate their churches without meaningful oversight, failing to implement or enforce policy to protect minors from exploitation, unquote. So this goes back to Mica talking about the embezzling of money. How much do you want to bet that his dad did it, so therefore he just followed suit? Oh, I need some money, I'll take it from the church. Oh, thank you, Rosie, for the compliment. That was so very sweet of you. I hope you have a good day, sweetheart. I've heard statistics that up to 30% of youth pastors are accused of sexually abusing children. It wouldn't surprise me to learn that statistic was true. Good question. Power, privilege, and his standing in the town. Abraham said, if you smack my ass, you better at least be cute. I know that's right. It was, Rachel, very brave for them to do a series and actually actual investigative reporting, especially in 1989. You know what I mean? In 1978, I worked at a steak restaurant. Girls had to wear those ridiculously short skirts. I lasted a month. No one ever touched me, thankfully, but it was just gross. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you know what I'm saying, Abellas. It was a lot different back then. Okay. Quote, by promoting the church as a place of trust and spiritual guidance while neglecting to put adequate protective measures in place, defendants knowingly placed minors at risk of harm, unquote. The church's leaders, quote, failed to take corrective action regarding John Paul Miller's known predatory behavior, combined with their continued allowance of Reginald Wayne Miller to lead a church despite past allegations, fostered a culture of complicity, unquote. The plaintiff alleges allowing an, quote, environment where sexual misconduct was tolerated and enabled abuse. Jane 2, like Jane Doe 1, says the Millers, quote, either knew or should have known that predators, including John Paul Miller and Reginald Wayne Miller, posed a serious risk to minors, unquote, and says the defendants, quote, chose to enable John Paul Miller to treat the church and the school as a hunting area for underage females, unquote. There's no attorney or of record listed for either Miller on the public index, and our previous contact information for John Paul is no longer working. So he changed his phone number when they tried to reach out to him for a quote. And beautiful Mica coming into this, thinking that she's met the man of her life, that, this is a pastor's son running a church. Like, he's got to be a man of God, right? She stayed through all the torture and torment because she didn't want anybody else to shy away from God, because she shied away from her husband. Like, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. So tomorrow we're going to come back to this plea agreement from 2014. This is going to be for the human trafficking that he was doing. And then we're going to also read over the, nope, over here. We're going to read through this document as well. And if I have time this evening, I'll get them up on Patreon. If not, I'm going to give you the links to these anyway. So you'll have all that. This is a long document, so we'll go through what we can, but this is going to break down exactly what they were doing in that school. Like, this article we read highlighted it, but this is going to go through everything. It's a long document too. Hopefully we can get through it tomorrow. Whew. I'll have to be ready to read. Curious Christine, thank you so much for the super chat. That was so very sweet and supportive of you, and I really appreciate it. Curious Christine said, Merry Christmas to Jess and all my friends. Stay on the good side of life. You too, sweetheart. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you.
Amazing!
Thank you so much, Curious Christine. I really appreciate the support. That was so very sweet of you. I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas too. I hope you do too. Kim said 80s and 90s were prime victim blaming, shaming years, and everything was kept behind closed doors no matter what. Exactly. And that's what I mean by saying things like that, because I don't mean that, you know, anything negative by it, but it was a time period where we used the R word, and it just was a lot different. You know, everything was kept behind closed doors. So for people to come out and do a whole 5-part series, it was saying a lot. Like, it had to be real bad. Kalisa said, I think he had money to pay people off, and he was a religious leader, respected, and his family was established and held in high regard. You are exactly right.
Boom, 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 bam, bam.
And for my Christians out there, that's why you got to be careful with your walk with God. That's why I don't go to regular churches. Not saying there's some wonderful, amazing churches out there with fellowship, love, kindness, helping the community, and it is a beautiful thing. But there's also churches like that where you feel like you're doing the right thing, and you might question a few things here and there, but you know, God wouldn't put this man in charge if he didn't want him in charge. You know what I mean? I'm sending my child to the private Christian school there. They're getting a good education. And then you find out all this is going on. Now, not many teenagers would come to their Christian parents and say, you know, at school, this is what's happening to me. Some would, but some would be afraid, especially if they got called into the office and were made to confess in front of the person they were making the allegations against and told that God is going to send you to hell and you'll be raped by demons for lying. Like, it's so much. I mean, any kind of emotional, mental, all of the abuse, physical. I mean, the girl's outside crying for God's sake and told that she needs to repent for her sins. I cannot. Jesse's words. Oh, you're good. I didn't see it. Even if you did, it's all right because the LDS Church, the bishop, a middle-aged man, will take you under a room alone from age 8 and up and interview you extensively about your sexual experiences in detail once a year. I believe that. That fucking saying, keep sweet. I hope Warren Jeffs is keeping sweet while he's in prison, that fucking asshole. I'm an atheist, but sometimes wish that God would show up and fix these people. Imagine their Pikachu faces. I would love to see John Paul's Pikachu face if he did that. If you've watched porn or done anything, then you're ashamed. And if there is a man or boy involved, nothing happens to them. I believe it. I believe it because church is a business. I believe it. All right, y'all, I'm going to go because I was trying to keep it at about 2 hours. We've gone for 2.5 hours, and there's no way I can get through those documents before I need to sign off. So I want to thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for hanging out with me. We will continue this conversation about John and Wayne Miller, the little sexual deviants they are. And I hope to see you here again tomorrow. If I don't see you again before Christmas, Merry Christmas. To those of you I will see tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. And I hope to get some members videos out, hopefully on some Christmas crafts that we're making. If not, there will be at least some Christmas sweets that we're making. I hope you guys have a nice day. I don't have to cook dinner. We're going to my mother-in-law, so that's really, really nice. I've missed you too, Kalisa. Just going to friend's house for dinner with Rocco. That's awesome. I know little lawyer Rocco will enjoy it. Good to see you. Thank you all. You all are awesome. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. I could sit here and talk to myself all day, but I would be nothing without your thoughts, opinions, and speculations and insight. And I want to tell you all to have a good night. If nobody has told you, you are enough, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you again. Bye.